I'm not too sure I'm going to post this, but if there's a way of communicating this without people perceiving the wrong impression, I have a feeling that this is going on with everybody. And we're all just a little too scared to say this out loud. But just a lot of my life experiences, it kind of made me sit back and go, what the hell was that about? And just, they were impossible things that just happened. And it's like, how can the impossible happen? And they were like miracles. And I always had this really strong connection with God, but I went the church route, didn't find any help there. But I always had this conversation in my head with God. And, I do believe everybody gets this voice in their head that says, oh, just do this. And it's your negative voice. And then you've got this other voice that tells you right from wrong. I do believe every single one of us has these voices that tell us right from wrong, but they're very, very suppressed. We tend to be on cruise control. And there was always this strange voice in my head that always said that I had this mission. I was supposed to do something really, really important with my life. And I kind of always listened to that voice. And it really made me stay on track because this voice said, one day, you know, you're going to be judged for what you're doing. So, and you need to be setting the good example. So, always try and do the right thing. Never really knew what that meant. Kind of thought, okay, well, I'm a mom and I'm supposed to set a good example, or but I always had this sense that I had this mission to do. And there were always these messages out in the universe, like this song, Hey Jude, turn a sad song into something better. My name is Judy. It kind of really related to me. They were just, people would come up to me and say something really, really powerful to me. And it was like, that came out of the blue. Why would you say something like that? So they always sort of really, really stood out. And then when I did have this big breakdown, and it was more of all of society and all of our systems, education, justice, government, corporate, all of these systems that you're trying to fit in with, and you're trying to manipulate your life experiences to fit in with these systems. When I crashed, it was like, this is impossible. No human being can do this and listen to this right voice that says always do the right thing. Like, it's an impossible thing. And that's when I kind of just crashed. Body broke down, brain appeared to break down, but then I got this complete knowing, like information just flooded, and you could see a completely different reality. It's the hardest thing to ever describe, but it was like, oh, I get it. I understand. And then it was like, how do you explain this? Because you have these thoughts, these knowings in your head, but when you go in and speak it, it's like we speak in linear terms, one word after another after another. And it's like every time I would open my mouth and just say one sentence, that one sentence provides the opportunity for a misunderstanding because you don't have the full knowing. And it's almost like, in order for you to understand this, you pretty much have to have that Vulcan mind meld and just, okay, here, see what I see, and just melt it in your own brain, and then you can see the same thing I see. because it's next to impossible to be able to describe what I see and use words to do it in, because the process of explaining it, as soon as one sentence comes out, there goes the misunderstanding, and you'll block it out and you won't hear the full story. And there's so much. There's and it's like every single part of this is proven in science. It's like all of this knowing that I have is stuff that's already out in our universe, but they're in bits and pieces. They're like puzzles, you know, puzzle pieces. That if we could just put the right puzzle pieces together, then you would understand everything. So it's like, okay, I could get this if I went back and found all of the research and had all of the names and had all of the books and had all of the films, every single thing that I've seen in my life, or know where to go and get it, you know, then I can put it all together and show you this puzzle that's going on. And to me, that's just really, really overwhelming, because it's like, it's so non-linear that you have to try and figure out how to make this linear. How do I go? Where do you start? You know, it is linear, and it's so overwhelming, because where do you begin? So basically, I think in the shortest terms, um, I do believe science is proving that there is a God. And it's like, where does this thought come in your head? When you have a thought, where does that thought come from? You know, like, you wake up in the morning and you have your first thought. What makes you have that first thought? Or if you even meditate and you clear your mind up completely, a thought will just pop into your head. What makes that happen? Where does that come from? You know, and there are some science, a lot of people are saying it's metaphysics or it's new age, but a lot of this is scientifically proven. Bruce Lipton is going into a lot of cellular um, sciences right at the deepest level, proving that we can cure cancer and we can manipulate DNA. He's saying we can't change DNA, but that's wrong. But he's so close to seeing it that, and then there's this other guy, Dr. Wolf, that's, you know, been proving a lot of this stuff. You know, the guy is not believing his own work, but the work is perfect. And he's, you know, in the quantum level of things, and talking about what's in a cell and how cells communicate, and where thoughts originate from. And a lot, you know, a bird will suggest you to have, you know, if you see a bird flying, it will suggest you to have a thought. If you see a sign, you know, it will inspire you to have a thought. You have bump into somebody on the street, and that will inspire you to have a thought. So everything in our reality is sort of like inspiring us to have thoughts, but it's what direction your mind goes into. There is this voice, and this voice tells you you can go in this direction or you can go in that direction. And I think science is proving that God aspect of you, that knowing everything that's right for you, is in those voices that tell you right from wrong. And you can communicate with it using your intuition. You know, okay, is this good or is it bad? Nobody should be telling you what is good or bad. I shouldn't be judging anybody, and nobody should be judging me, because nobody knows what is good or bad for me. One thing that I have noticed is our contradictions. When we voice out loud, this is something that's not good for me, but I do it anyways. I notice people are doing that all the time. They want one thing, but then their actions are doing everything to prevent it. It's like I can see it like a neon sign. And one of my contradictions right now is this friggin' smoking. And it's the wrong thing for me to do. But it's like, until I know how to communicate this stuff, until I get on that right path, um, and start seeing things shift, it's going to be really, really hard for me to quit smoking. But I know that I got to quit smoking in order to get there. So these are the struggles that I have with my own inner voice. And it's, where is your inner voice and what is it telling you? Peace out.